Hello, hello, hello. We're live again today for some more WildStar housing. Um, Today is specifically housing content, so I've lined up a few homes we're going to tour together today. As always, these homes are listed in the amazing Exile builders on Jabbit-EU. There's a thread in the official forums that I maintain. All of these homes that I visit, that I showcased here, are public at the time. Sometimes they go back to private for remodeling, or they want to change um, the look of their plot and just want some privacy while they refix it. Others just decide to close it up. But as of this moment, these particular ones are open to the public. So if you're on Jabbit-EU and you are on Exile side, you should be able to visit these in person. For those that cannot, however, this is what this stream is going to be aimed at showcasing those homes that people that aren't on Jabbit Exile side can get to. So today we're going to start with Miss Medusa's plot. It's entitled Treetops and the Shire. It's kind of a mixed bag of types of buildings. Some of it is a little rough, I think, around the edges, but she's got a lot of nice touches here, so we're just going to kind of take a look around. And we're going to start up in the main home first, because I've been here before and I kind of know some of the things that she's got here, so I'm going to try and save the best for last kind of thing. You can see she's used one of the new Orin landing pads for a ship that's come in. I think it's okay. I haven't found much use for the landing pads. I've used a few in other ways than an actual landing pad, so I just don't have an inkling for a lot of spaceships on my plot. I don't know why. Here we have the living room. It's a really nice, kind of a simple setup, but she's got a lot of nice touches for custom decor. I mean, here's the fireplace. Normally people just think of the rocks as just they only go outside, but here she's cleverly used it as her fireplace. And then we have what appears to be a nice little homemade kind of an aquarium type setup. See if I can hop up here and get a little closer view. Maybe more like a terrarium. Doesn't look like fishy kind of creatures. I think those are brutes, and not quite sure what that one's called. A dagon, maybe? I love these bushes here. It's the purple razor bush. They remind me of like Dr. Seuss with the little curly cues and stuff. If I could ever get my hands on like a bunch of those, I'd probably try and do some kind of a zany little themed house just based off of that, but unfortunately I've only managed to get all of them. And here's a nice little version of a sink with some like bubbles for the dirty dishes while they're washing, and then they got the nice little dish rack here. I believe this is it's a staircase used as the rack, which is a clever, way to use something in a way that it's not specifically designed for. And of course, a lot of people come up with different ways for the refrigerators. This appears to be a flat metal table with some, I think it's the granite walls combined with one of the wires for the handle. It's just little touches like that make it your own. Not everybody's going to have that particular combination of items. And here they've put together a couch, again using the flat metal tables, this time as the base of their couch, and then just thrown in some Chua pillows. Nice little touches. I love that about a lot of these homes. It's all the little extra, the little details that they include, that they create from their own imagination. Here we have the shower stall. Well, yeah, shower, I guess. Kind of hard to see the spray nozzle up there. And then got some kind of a thing for the soap, looks like. And the toilet, that's a rather unique toilet. Toilet paper for the bowl, even. The interesting combination. I like that. Again, some people might find this pretty mundane in a lot of ways. It's nothing, grand or some superly wild theme or anything. But for me, it's not always about even full plot redos or anything. A lot of it's just attention to detail. If you've got some nice pieces, even if it's just a car that you built and everything else is pretty, expected, then that'll catch my attention, and I'd like to bring it to others' attention. So yeah, the house is just a simple little cozy one, but with some nice little touches to make it her own. Now we're going to finish touring outside. I think I'm going to go up into the treetops first. I always thought the particular lighting, I think it's the Eldon version of the lighting, I thought it wouldn't really go with anything, but it seems to suit this thing all right. The lighting of it, it's not too dark. Sometimes the problem with dark plots, it's really hard to see things unless you like turn your screen really bright just to catch everything. You can kind of see a hint of the Shire part down below, but we'll check that out in a little bit. We're just gonna see if I can avoid falling. I'm very, and I'm very klutzy when it comes to climbing, so. Put my race to shame. Again, there's not a whole lot, going on, but this could give someone an idea if they want to do some kind of a tiered, I'm going to write it on, just upload it, tiered kind of living space. So here she's built a whole nother kind of a living area up above the trees. Just for something different. Here's the bedroom. What a sight that is with the ball of flame here. And the dining. Just a simple little layout. And then she throws in this nice little touch of a little jacuzzi. Now, I'm sure there's other ways to approach it, but this is the way she's done it, and I think it's pulled it off pretty good. It's, you can tell that that's supposed to be water with some bubbles. And just a nice, simple little jacuzzi. Got a towel here. Someone's lost their clothing. Left it behind. I think it's like one of the dome pieces, the hollow domes. And appears to be some the tall files and tiny blue crystals that have been enlarged and positioned around. Maybe even a bit of a sleeping bag to give it some of the darker blues. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes what exactly specific items are being used, but you kind of get familiar with how some of them look, and it's a little easier to identify, and others you're kind of still left going, what was that? And that's part of the fun, especially for someone like me that likes to visit a lot of homes. Wow, this looks like a giant slip here. What is this? That's just creepy. Creepy bartender. See if I can get up there to get a better look. Has some wild hair. I don't think I want what he's drinking. But yeah, that's part of the fun for me, is to figure out how they put something together. Not necessarily to copy it, but to be inspired by it. To think, well, hey, I never thought about using this blue item for some kind of a water feature. And then later on, when I'm looking for something that will fit a water feature that I want to put together, then I'll think, well, hey, maybe I could use this. Not necessarily, again, exactly like they've done it, but something similar or inspired by it. And that's the big thing. I encourage people to take a look at others. Some tell me that they're afraid that, well, they don't want to copy. It's like, well, if that's your worry, then just make sure you don't. If they use a certain color of floor or rock, try a different one. Won't be exact. This appears to be some kind of a, I don't know, little hall, important place. Looks like a gathering or worship or some kind of meeting of the plushies. Kind of unnerving. With a little sacrifice bowl up here for offerings. Okay, I think that's all up here. I like to avoid risking death down here, so I'm just going to kind of meander my way down. Okay, now we're entering the little Shire Park. And I really thought this was a clever way of, I've seen some on the forums trying to put something together that kind of looks like the Shire. And while it's similar, I think she still took a different approach. But I think it's a cute way of putting it together. I mean, you can see that it's like grass. Just a mound of grass. And technically this one, if I can zoom in here, you could technically just walk through the walls because there's no collision for grass. You can just walk right in and out. But she's put it on thick enough or layered enough that while there is some visibility through it, it looks fairly solid, and it gives you the idea that it's a mound of a little hill that they've built their house into, and it's covered with grass. Again, it's fairly simple, but I like the concept. A lot of times people think that I only showcase those that, have, just knock you off your feet kind of homes, and really, those are great. And, kudos to those that have the talent and the skill of putting that together. But even these little basic concepts, I love the originality of it. I mean, here we've got a little wagon. Nothing fancy. It's not like individual 2x4s, pasted together, and then actual tires and all that. She's used what she felt she could put together and simulate. Here's nice little. We don't really have too many rope items, but the wires work perfectly for the reins. I just like. I like little touches like this. It's a fun little thing. And then here we have the second one, and this one she's taken a little more time into, and probably that's why her other one isn't as finished, is what I okay? Because if you look, she's used individual stones, the swirly stones, and fill in the wall to make it solid so that you can't just walk through the grass on this one. And I imagine that added up pretty fast and ate up her decor limit. And that can hinder us in many ways, and I'm sure that's why she didn't elaborate too much on the other one. This one's probably the one she started with, and you can see she's taking the time to fill in just about every little nook and cranny with rock. It's really, really cute little thing. Now, for someone that's really into like Lord of the Rings or whatever, that would be a nice little treat to have that on the plot. But this one, you know, you could actually stand on top of. And then to round out the plot, just got a little gazebo here. Now again, I've seen many versions of gazebos, and quite often a lot of them use the bowls. I think mostly because of the coloring of the bowl and how it's got a little bit of grass and the shape of it. It's probably would be more preferred if it was actually round rather than like a polygon kind of thing. But she's made it her own by using the columns that usually you don't see people using in here, and the plates for the stairs to lead up into it. Yeah, again, it's just a variation on a popular theme for a gazebo, which I think is nice. And here we have a lot of, or several, I should say, plugs that have water features. Now, I don't know if this is what she intended, but to me this kind of looks like a little, like a muddy bog kind of thing that she's put in here, because I mean clearly she's trying to indicate there's some kind of a fluid here, even though it's just the ground. You see, she's got like a lily pad here, and it's kind of walled off with these stones, and it just reminds me like kind of like the dilapidated little pond that's gone to pot. And of course, out here she's got her little garden, the pumpkins and bamboo, and got the test dummy as the scarecrow. And Mr. Rousedowner eating his flowers. Yeah, it's just a cute little, like a mini theme, a mix of themes. I mean, she's got, you know, stuff going on inside. She's got stuff going up in the trees, and then she's got the Shire village in the back. So it's a little something for everybody. I'm sure a lot of folks that are looking for Orin-themed homes and such, and ideas how they might want to pull it off, come here and pick up a few nifty ideas. Okay, so the second home we're going to visit is owned by Polymorph. Now this I think is an older home. It's been around for quite a while. So I don't know if there's been any kind of like actual updates on any of the structure itself, but I love the concept of it, and I think you know, you've seen the arenas and coliseums and stuff, and this one's kind of the same. It's called the Galaxy All-Star Stadium, and it really lives up to its name. We won't go inside yet. We're just gonna go through to the ticket booth up here. But I like how they've used the banners as kind of the little walk of warriors there or something. And then here you have a little ticket booth. It's got several little stands. Fairly simple layout. I mean, it's not too complicated, but you have like the keyboards and some of the posters used as doors. Looks like hammers for the handles. And then of course we got one that is actually manned by a Protostar guy. We love the Protostars. And then here we got the turnstiles for the people that are entering. And basically they've just combined the tables in a way that it looks like a little barrier, which is kind of clever. And then here we enter the stadium. Pretty sizable. I mean, it's basically the entire plot, aside from the one side where the ticket area is. And they just basically got different little challenges set up, the boxing ring and a little medical facility and the Protostar training hazard plug-in. But those things are okay, and I'm sure even if they didn't have that, it would still be fun to, you know, have some people out here, you know, doing some combat and stuff. What I find the most entertaining though is their stadium itself, how they've set it up. Got all the stands. You've got like the cheap seats where I guess people would be standing rather than sitting, and then you got the higher seats. And there's like litter, and here's even a little litter bot. He's cleaning up the mess from the last little event that they had. And they got these, I think it's the ale signs that's put in here just to direct people, okay, you go this way and that way for your, and they've done that all the way around consistently. I thought it was clever, you know. Most people wouldn't go through the trouble of just putting in the entire stands, but looks like those flat metal tables again. Lots of pillars, fencing, and then of course you can't have a stadium without having some snack booths. So here we go. We got little Protostar cooking up some stuff. I like the tray. In fact, you know, that'd probably work on mine with the trays that I was trying to put together. But got the little grilling going on. And here we got the soda machine, and then we got another one for the drinks. And we come up to the stands. I think, I'm not sure if this is the one that has an announcement booth. Yeah, announcement booth. Got like a little gate here, and then you go up into it. And then you got the place where the commentators do their thing. It's a little high, I think. It's possible that maybe they ran out of decor limits to finish it off like they wanted. I'm sure they would have put in like some microphones and little desks and some more Protostar guys to man it, but the idea is there. So someone else that wanted to, you know, create their own, they've got a really good head start on how to set one up like this. Just a nifty way, you know, being able to include all these different little banners that usually I never have a reason to use. It's just a nifty little setup. And I think here is where the I'm not sure if this is for like the competitors or for like for their winnings or something, like little closed off rooms or whatever. Maybe it's their locker rooms where they get prepared. I think that's what that is supposed to represent. Their changing rooms for getting in their gear and everything. And we got another one for this side, the opposing team. And of course, you know, they went with the fireworks sky, which is appropriate for the particular theme. And again, it's just mirrored like it is over on the other side. Got another little litter bot. And of course, like I said, I'm not sure if they still visit much. Looks like most of their stuff is active, kind of. And then we here have a little medical facility for those that have competed and have gotten injured. Of course, where the hollow crypt is for those that severe deathly ailments, but then for those who just get a little injured, come here, bandaged up. Just a nice little theme is set up, kind of covers all the bases. You got your snacks, you got your medical, you got the announcer stand, the ticket booth, and then of course the stadium. The stadium is like the big thing. Overview of the stadium. So now the last time I was here, I don't think there was anything in the bunker house, but we'll go check before we go, just to make sure. Yeah, it's a pretty big structure. Maybe with some of the newer items you could do it a little differently, but I think they pulled it off pretty well, considering. Yeah, it's still empty. So who knows what they might have had planned for that. Maybe an underground fight club of some sort. I don't know. Anyone's guess, but I thought it deserved a look because we have a lot of guilds that like to do little inter-guild competitions and such. And even though this might not be in full operation, you could still come and role play and do some fun things. Just check it out. Or get inspiration for building your own, which is, you know, always a good thing. Okay, the final home for today is going to be, let me see if I say this right, Sucellos Severion's home. Now I've showcased, or I've at least listed some of their other homes. And I had a sneak peek of this one while it was being worked on. So I was very excited when I saw that they had finally opened it up to the public. I think that's about right. This one may be bright for some people. It's a complete exile orgy type of thing. It's just full of exonite. I love the honeycomb effect that the particular stones give, but I'm going to try and see if I can get a good shot of the exterior of this structure here. Called the Cathedral of Light, and it is massive. And so much detail has gone into the structure itself. You can see the archwork for the doorways, and it's just phenomenal, really, how they've put this together. Of course, there's exonite all the way around. And there's 3 entrances, but it all leads to one large room. I mean, it doesn't matter which one, but we're going to go in the middle one because that gives the most ta-da kind of effect. So, but I'm going to take a look here. You know, we've got the nice Eldenish and artifacts and statues. And just some, you know, they could have probably gone with the honeycomb all the way across, but I like either they were limited due to decor count being used, or they just chose to break it up this way. But I really like the difference of the textures, so that it doesn't look totally clean and smooth. looks like it's been carved. This has been carved out of whatever was here, and it's just amazing. They put together. I love how it contrasts itself. I mean, all of it is Exonite, but it has its own shading depending on what pieces you. Okay, so now we're going to go inside and see what this place holds. And again, it's a massive structure. It's just huge, and the work that went into making these vaulted ceilings and setting up the lighting and picking out, you know, the choices of decor goes really well with the theme. It's just huge. So we'll go up one side. I think it's relatively mirrored to be, you know, even, but we'll walk the whole thing just to admire it. You know, got these crystals that have been placed on little pillars, showcase them a little bit. Nice use of the statues, and then here we've got the Dominion benches being used for the views. And I love the columns you've managed to put together. From this angle here. Just a really well designed theme. And of course, this is the main little altar type of thing, podium. Again, it's a little big for me, but you get the idea of what it's supposed to be. Crazy. I can't imagine how much time went into getting this just so. A lot of tweaking for me if I tried to attempt something like this. It's just, I think this is a little too architecty for me. But honeycomb just all the way through. And again, it's not for everyone. You know, maybe they choose not to use the Dominion bench because maybe they don't like the colors or it's too Dominion-y for an exile home. But of course, this isn't a home. This is more like well, it's a cathedral. But you know, for someone's plot, they might be persistent about not having anything Dominion type. But I think even these are Dominion sconces of some sort, but they don't have any of the bright red. And I think the color's really just a really pretty little accent. Now, just when you think you've seen it all, this place also has a bunker house. And if you didn't see it, there it is. It's coming around the corner. Now when I first got a sneak peek at this place, they had actually had like some little gardens here with some plants, like some of the Exonite trees and bushes and stuff. And they were worried that people wouldn't find the bunker house because you had to kind of, it was so brightly lit. The Exonite plants and stuff glow so brightly that it's really hard to see. So they worried that if they didn't remodel this a bit, that people would just overlook it completely. So they went ahead and just made it a little more obvious. For someone that's just kind of running through, you're not really paying attention, you could still miss it. But I think it's noticeable enough that most will probably catch it when you come in. So yeah, more Exonite, just crazy. You know, I know this stuff isn't cheap either. It's one of the more pricier items, uh, but it's nicely used. Here we have some kind of like a museum or exhibition kind of thing. Um, they got different things on show. Nice creepy egg pile. And then they've even gone to the trouble of creating their own creatures. This is like a centipede. Really nasty looking. I would not, for someone that, you know, maybe doesn't like bugs and stuff, this would be a really hard room to visit because it's so creepy. But very neatly done. And then here too, we've got a little spider creature. Those pulsating eggs really help give it some life because it's moving and things. Same way with these, I think it's the eyeball stalks. And then you've got, I don't know what that is. Eyeball thing. A little disturbing. It's like it's poking itself, or I don't know what that is. It's creepy. Creepy stuff. And lastly, another little kind of gelatinous floor there. Disturbing looking too. Really kind of gross. And then they got the spikes on the back. And it's just different strain pieces, you know, put together in a way to make it something new and interesting. And then just to kind of, you know, finish it off, they've built in some what you would imagine to be, you know, like airlocks or doorways to other sections. It's really nicely done. Not something you would expect to find underneath a cathedral, I think, but certainly worth the visit. So there you have it. That's our 3 houses for today. I don't know if I'll make it a habit of doing 3 houses every week, but we're gonna at least do one every week. But I just couldn't resist some of these. It's hard to not want to share them with others because I think they're all great in their own ways. And I hope that it inspires other people to try and just let their imagination run wild. You're not really limited by too many constraints. I mean, yes, you have your item decor limits, you know, restriction and storage space restriction, and some of the plugs are, you know, you can't, they have the barriers on them so you can't place things. But generally speaking, we've got a considerable amount of freedom in how we put things together. And so you're virtually just limited by your imagination. If you think you want to build a big rig, you can build a big rig. If you want to build a space rocket, you can. If you want to build a boat, you know, I have a guildmate, she's working on putting boats together. Just anything goes, and this is just one of many examples. So yeah, that was this was Sucellos Severian's home, and then we visited Polymorphs and Miss Medusa's. All really great homes, and I hope you enjoyed getting to see them kind of up close, not in person, but as good as it comes for that. So back to my home. I've made a few changes uh, not on the exterior here. That's pretty much the same. Um, but I have made a few changes from yesterday. We started on taking a look at the bunker house and what my plans were for that. I'm looking to build some kind of like a subway station or some other kind of public transportation system going on. And as you can see, I've changed it up quite a bit. There used to be look like a rocket or bullet shape going, and I just wasn't happy with it. Um, I kept looking at it and I thought, no, this isn't going to work for me. I've got to do something a little different. So I've begun the structure somewhat. You can kind of get the idea. It's going to be like a full view on the front, and then it's just going to be a solid top. And I've kept it kind of squarish because, straight edges, and to make it easier if I want to incorporate working doors to get in and out. Because the curved walls, I think it was going to be a nightmare for me to try and rig something up for those. And then I got to playing with how I wanted to do the tracks. Um, Whether it works well, I don't know, but for now, that's how I want it. The only other thing I was contemplating yesterday was you can probably see how we've got this little indention here where there's a bit of raised floor here. What I would like to experiment with is maybe making this side raised as well. The only problem with that is whatever kind of flooring I put here, it won't match the rest of the flooring because obviously I don't have this particular coloring on any of the floor pieces or wall pieces that I have available to me. So I don't know if I'm willing to do that or not. If I did, it might help the illusion of that being a track that's inset into the room there a little better, rather than just straight flat. Uh, that would require that I lift all of this up a bit, depending on, maybe not the walls, but at least the countertops and the seats themselves will have to be lifted um, to accommodate the difference in elevation. But it's something I was thinking of yesterday, and I think I will experiment on working on. And then, of course, I've added in the Ichthian energy barrier. I wanted some kind of a simulation of, not necessarily that it's on tracks per se, like a typical today train kind of thing, but some kind of like a hover mechanic or energy barrier thing that it rides on. And of course, that kind of ends the little illusion here that this is a hollow tunnel that they're going through. But again, I'm just going to go with the idea that it's kind of like I don't know, wormhole kind of void slip thingy that they just kind of zoop and it's out kind of thing. But I'll have to get a hold of at least one or two more to extend that out a bit and make it cover the entire track. These here are basically just Dominion cots that have been turned upside down and rotated so that just the bottom is showing. Um, and it's like 5 of those in a row. I just kind of gauged about the width to kind of match it up with the width of the maintenance panels that I've got set up. And the way I kind of got this shape going was I used one of the, I think it's the wooden coffin. Um, yeah, the wooden coffin. Basically turned it on its side. If you see the kind of the more of a flat nose with the slanted top front and then the straight along, and that's essentially the shape I went with, except I didn't have it the flat nose. I just made it pointed to kind of make it more, I don't know, aerodynamic or whatever. Um, it may change again but because obviously it's going to take a lot of pieces to kind of, because I want to be able to inset windows and doors, and when you do that, then it gets harder to make a solid piece. You don't have a solid wall that is this shape, so you have to tack it together piece by piece and hope that it doesn't look too zany with all the connections and crossovers and stuff like that. And so yeah, first we're going to look at possibly giving this area from here on back a bit of a lift. Don't know if that's going to come off very good. First we're going to look at floors to see what I kind of hesitate to go with the orange floor again unless I lighten this one up again, because again this looks different. The flooring and the walls and everything looks different than I had it yesterday. My husband came and said it's awfully bright, and he suggested that I kind of darken it up so that when I put in lighting it will really like spotlight it a little better. So it's kind of a shady type of station, but if I end up going with the orange floor down here as well, I may see if I can get something a little lighter to kind of match it. Certainly don't want to do metal or wood, and the stone just doesn't look right. So let's see what we got for walls. And it's still like just the wrong coloring. So if I did do the orange walls, the floor colors we got. Be great if they added some more options, just some basic colors. I really like the metal color, but even the stone orange, it doesn't quite match the orange floor. This has got more little details on it, and the other doesn't. This is what I had before, and it just bothered me because the lines didn't always match where they should, and that's just ugly. Again, this got lines. That one's a little too pricey. And then we've got lots of wood. So yeah, I don't know how that's gonna play out. Let's just try the orange floor, and we'll see if we can even do the effect. And if the effect works, then I may see if I can find something else for the flooring. I almost even say that too bad the posters, you can't enlarge them really big, because once they get a certain size, they stop growing. So those might even work. Of course, then I'd have to change how I've got the seats built. Let's just try 2 of them. Pop them out here. See how bright that is? It's like stands out. But then maybe that's good. It gives a contrast for the track here. I don't know. It's gonna be questionable, I think. I'm gonna move this one over so I don't bury it under the other one, which I was about to do, I think. Now, I want it kind of up, but man, that's really up there. And then you kind of want it to be the same width. don't know. This doesn't feel right. Um, Try something else. I wonder what the flat metal table would look like. It might be too light as well. I wonder how big it gets. Pretty big. Think it far enough? A whole lot. Gotta take a bunch of them if I go with the tables, that's for sure. That's the limitation of those legs. You just can't get away with pushing it down in there. That's a little better, I guess. So do I make a whole floor section of tables? Don't know. You try it, I guess. Let's see, is that about the right width? Needs to come in a little bit, I guess. Eyeballing the distance between the edge here and here. It's a little off, partly because this has got a slight curve to it, but see. I guess it could a little bit. If I could click on the right thing, get the thing to light up. Maybe I could get away with a little bigger. Is that about the same? Maybe too much. Bring that back to the 4. So many little things you gotta be eyeballing. Looks about the same width, sort of. Yeah, it's about the same height. And then we'll just eyeball this again. Kind of match up. So there, now if I did that, that would lift up the flooring and make this a little more like a sunken in track, like it's inset rather than flush with the floor. Not ideal because again I like this flooring here, but it's one solution. Oh, I don't want to destroy it. Send it to Craig. So the idea becomes: do I want to make this all the way across to lift everything up, or do I maybe just do this section here and have like stairs going down both here, like we have them here, and at these entrances here? That might be one way to do it, so that I get to keep the floor for most of it, but have this little bit of a ramp area where it's up. So we'll try that. So first I'm going to line this up on the end here. That way we can start putting out however many tables I'm going to need to fill it all up. Looks probably going to be about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, maybe 5 across and 2 deep. We'll start it with 5 and see how that works. doing? Oh. I'm so fuzzy-brained I can start on something and forget what it is I'm doing. Angle here, some. There's going to be a bit of flickering because I'm having to overlap it pretty good to make up for the curve that's in the shape of it. But if I just adjust the height of it just by a little bit, it should be okay, I think. So there's going to be, you know, a little bit of difference. And the way to kind of avoid keeping it going down, down, down all the way, and then you have like a slant, you go down one, and then the next one you go up one, and then you go down one, and that kind of makes it not like super noticeable, I guess. For some items, it's more noticeable than others, but hopefully it won't be a problem with these. Again, I may do this, and then tomorrow I'll go, this is like the stupidest idea ever, and I'll just scrap it all like I did my original subway train thing. But for now, I think it will help with the illusion that that's an inset track. Maybe if I can find flooring that matches this a little better once it's in, I won't be so bothered by it. But I can already see I'm going to have fun trying to lift that up. Don't remember if they're all linked still or not. In fact, I may have to do that real quick just before I have myself bonkers. Like I unlinked it just to move those, so link this back up. I'm not really paying attention to how high I'm lifting it, just high enough so that I can see the seat. Ugh. Only thing I hate about interactive decor is you want to move it, and then as soon as you go to touch it, right click it, your character automatically wants to walk over to it. It's especially troublesome with benches and seats and stuff. Trying to position your tables and everything, and that character keeps running over. It's like, no. Okay, so now I gotta do the same. You know, if I'd had some forethought, I would have done this before. No. So yeah, that's the parent one. So we'll just link the pillars to it. And again, I'm not paying attention to the height. I'm just getting them out of the way so that I can put this in without. And that table's bright. And I probably will go ahead and check where exactly that's positioned so I can get them all the same. 2, 42. Okay, well, looks like we'll get away with 4 across. So that's good. 1 less than I thought. Let's see, I went down, up, so this one goes down. Oh, there's that. Man, that is really shiny. Probably not going to stick with those because that's just a little painful on the eyes. Really, really bright. Maybe I'll just leave it like that with the one row and have the stairs coming up from the bottom. Yeah, I think that's easiest to change up if I decide to do that. So we'll bring these down again. Now I could go through the trouble of centering them on this thing, but I think I won't because I had mentioned yesterday that I was considering putting like some kind of a trolley in here somewhere for luggage, and so if I did that, I want room for it. Theoretically, be able to wheel through without too much trouble. I don't know just how wide it's going to be. With that in mind, I'll probably, instead of putting in actual steps, it'll probably be a ramp for the entrances to both here, for those that want to do the trolley at their luggage. Maybe I'll install ramps here too. I kind of started playing with the idea of making this an ATM machine. I don't have all the pieces I'm thinking of using. I still need to get a hold of some of the ergonomic keyboards and things like that, but it's just something I was playing around in my head. That's how I wanted to do it. Let's see. For now, we'll go ahead and put in some Love Me Cassian fillers. Now, do I bring it all the way across, or I think I'll just make it for the ends. Kind of mirror. It's not going to look exactly like that because obviously we don't have those kind of stairs, but just to kind of mimic the idea of it. We'll put it on the end here. Just deciding how I want it to go. How deep the steps should be so that it's still walkable but not. Mine are considerably wider, but the smaller I make the column, the even more narrow it is. So I don't want to go too small. Now mine, again, won't be exactly like those, but it saves me having to use too many pieces to simulate everything. Maybe that's not quite enough. Don't want it like unnoticeable, but something like that. I mean, I think theoretically you could just step right up anywhere you wanted, but I think the same is true over here. We have the stairs anyway, so. And then of course, supposed to mirror that on this side. So we'll do the same here. Actually, I think I won't. I'll just make this for like, because I'm still not entirely sure what I want to put on this side. If it's going to be maybe where the maintenance workers are for the station. This is where they have their little thing where they repair, and they would need the stairs for access just to get up here. And maybe I'll wall this off, and this is where all the like the mechanical bits, the machinery of the station is. In fact, I'm going to write that down so I can myself. Always have a notebook handy. Very, very good. So this might be like the control room for the station itself. Now this will be the side. This side is what the customers, the public will see. That's their access to it. And then over here will be where the little protostar dudes come in, and maybe they got lots of screens and they can follow all the traffic of the trains that come through and make sure there's no crashes or something, or I don't know what. So yeah, I think that's good. So we're gonna do this again on this side. Gotta be pretty narrow. Maybe I just do it right here. Of course, since I have double seating, that makes more sense to put this in the middle, doesn't it? We'll figure it out. 32. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. It worked today, so that's good. We have that to be thankful for. So yeah, now we've got back thing, and I'm gonna put some steps here, I guess. That really feels like it's gonna be narrow. It makes more sense to have the stairs here. So we need 2 more Cassian pillars. I can just imagine if there's any other builders watching this. Whoops. See, look at that. I don't know why I put that up there. Looking at this going, I would do it this way or that way, and that's just dumb, and that doesn't look right, and that's wrong. And but you know, that's part of it. I could get you know, more like I have a lot of guildmates that do like spaceships and stuff, and I could get some input on them from them about what I could use. But I kind of prefer just to experiment on my own as far as what I'm picking, because it's one of the best ways to learn. You know, other than just getting inspired by what you see from other people, it's also just feeling comfortable enough to just throw something out and go, can I put that together in the way that I'm thinking? It doesn't always work. And when it comes to this kind of stuff, you really got to be okay with it not working a lot of the times, because you learn, okay, well, that doesn't work, and then you move on to something else. You try something else, and eventually you'll get it to work the way you want, and then it's all the better because you figured it out. Or the way you set it up, someone else will think, you know, wow, I can't believe that approach worked. How did you do it? You know, that kind of thing. Don't be afraid to try stuff, even if you don't end up using it. You know, yes, it's time that technically you may have lost, but for a lot of us builders, I don't think we really pay much attention to the time. Like I said before, this isn't a an overnight thing. It's not something you do one day, done, and then you never pick it up again. This is an ongoing, continual, evolving hobby. I'm just checking to see if it's kind of a doorway there. And it's not. Kinda, sorta. That's good. Almost deleted that. See, just because of the where it's positioned, it looks like it's not out far enough. And that's because of this little doohickey here. So maybe I will have to just move it off to the side. It don't look right. Maybe I'll put it where it is on the other and just hope that it doesn't feel closed off too much. Because like I said, most people probably will just go straight in and walk up and completely ignore the stair system that I'm putting in. I'm taking all this time to put in the stairs and no one's going to use them. But, you know, for those that, you know, follow it around and look and see it, they'll go, hey, there's some stairs there, and we'll use them. And then I'll be happy. Okay, so that kind of helps simulate what I was wanting with the inset track. Again, I'm probably going to change these tables to something else because I really think that's just way too bright. Especially at certain angles, it's like almost blinding. While it gives good contrast for these, the benches, it's just too bright for me. So I'll find something else, some other material that I can use. I don't know what yet. Maybe I'll find some obscure piece that I can maybe get a hold of several more and use that. But for now, this puts it in place and sets up the idea of it, and will make it easier to replace it if later I find something that'll work a little better. And now I think I have a better idea of how I want to do the this area here, making it some kind of like a little station. In fact, I may make it like a double level like I have here, and similar to this, I may have like a little viewing window up here where there's some controllers looking out, checking things out, making sure everything's running right. So yeah, that's one thing. The only thing about the train that kind of bothered me, but I think I'm going to ignore it, is I'm using the Orin walls for just about everything in here. It's like I'm using it for the walls, floor here, and now I'm using it for the body of the train. Sometimes I kind of want to do that to see just how many different ways I can use one particular item, but I worry that people may feel like it's just going overboard on that particular thing. But unless I find something else that works as easily, I will probably leave it and just continue with the idea of it. You know, it wouldn't be the first time that a company painted everything blue and had a blue this and a blue that, and it just looks like it's all one thing, you know, camouflage or something. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Up here, of course, I'm still brainstorming about how I'm gonna deal with those stairs there, that little walkway. Ow. But this will be the little diner area. I'm thinking, you know, just like some little booths and just a simple little kitchen. I may not even have a full-fledged kitchen that you can actually walk into. It may just be a little boxed-in area where you can see some of the stuff. but it's like you just have the little window where you come and pick up your food order, and that be that. Or maybe that's where the waitress or whatever the wait picks it up. Just kind of like one of those little diners, you know, and have it be here instead. Um, and of course, I'm still thinking lockers for travelers, and that be the ticket booth, and then having some like phone booths or some other kind of things along this wall here. So since I don't have the other piece of this, um, and I worked on this yesterday, so I'm kind of wanting to steer clear of that particular piece for now. We will work on, I think we will see about walling this in for the little, I don't know what you call it, the mechanic station, I don't know what it would be called. My mind is kind of gone to a blank. So those 2 floors that we were going to use here, we're gonna find another use for them. One of my guildmates just finished his plot. He's been working on it diligently for quite a while now. So he was letting me know it's finally done. I'm gonna have to take a look at it later. I don't want this to go all the way because, again, I'm thinking that some kind of an observation room up here. Um, I'm gonna have to make this smaller because I still want access to those stairs there. But I need the wall, if I can manage it, to be high enough to go all the way top. That just allows me to use fewer pieces. Um, doesn't always work out, but let's see. Line this up. Making sure I can get through it okay. And then we'll lift it. Where that lands. Yeah, so see if I put one here and one here, I think that'll leave a nice little spot for an observation window for upstairs. We'll see. I may have to. I see it might be too narrow. I'd like it to be. A little wider up there. At 4.2, I think. Again, I'm checking to see if it's still able to go from the floor to the roof without any issues. Still got a little ways, little play, I think. So let's take it all the way down to 4 to see if that's too small. Slide that. And then do the same on this side. I'll get a little more accurate in a minute, but I want to just, yeah, I think that's better with the wider viewing port there. You know, I could just bring these down and do it like I've done over here, but I don't want to mirror it too much. And of course, there's a lot of things going on over here. Maybe they don't want everybody to see. So the little viewing window that I'll put up here, and this one I'll make solid down at the bottom. But again, that means I have to figure out some form of putting in a stairway. I hate stairways. It's pain. Bringing that to the edge. Not going to be exact because that's a little wonky there. Close enough. And of course that'll be covered up with something, incorporated into whatever it turns out to be. Just looking to see where I've got this lined up next to the stairs. Kind of right to the edge of the furthest one out, so I want to make sure it's the same on both sides. I know a lot of people don't notice those little bits, but it's, you know, stuff I pay attention to, so I'm looking to see where it's set so I can line the other one up. 1815, so this is off by a little bit. So they're actually like way out there in comparison to the other one, isn't it? So that just shows you that this isn't like fully square, which, see, that poses issues when it doesn't match up exactly right. Why does that? I don't know why that does that. This one says it's at 1815. I moved this one to 1815, and then now it's jumped to the 1791. I'm having to do it manually because the number one doesn't want to punch in right. Oh, it's again. Okay, that's a little better. I was worried there for a minute. I thought, man, that's really off. But it's just the little movement thing getting a little squirrely, which is probably just as worrisome. But okay, so now that I've put these tables in and I've seen how it's kind of divvied up, these are looking off. I'm going to center them a little better, putting them over the marks here. Again, I know that probably wouldn't bother some, but it just kind of, I like a little uniformity, especially when it's things like it's mirrored kind of. So I want it to be so-so, I guess. And what I'll do is to kind of fill this in is maybe I'll put trash cans here or some other little contraption to kind of fill that in, but I think that looks better with them a little more specifically. Okay, so now we'll do the bottom half of this. I'm going to see if I can get away with a fairly large one so that, again, I want to get away with using as few pieces as I have to. I already know this one's going to be a monster on eating up item counts. Thankfully, the inside and outside counts are separate, so you know I'm starting off with basically a fresh plate of goodies that I can spend. but I know how quickly it can disappear. So this little contraption here, once I fill it in and then detail it out with all of the stuff inside, it's probably going to like suck up a lot of stuff. Not to mention all the details that I plan on putting elsewhere. So it's going to be another fun experience trying to figure out how to do all that. Okay, so I'm gonna drop this in here and see if I can. That'll do good. So now I need to figure out about where I want the height. Probably it would be good to make it the same as this. So what I'll do is I'll place that for now. I'm going to get myself another floor, and I'm going to need 2 more than likely. Like all I do is buy stuff. Buy. It's cheap though. It's cheap. A few runs through some dungeons and stuff, and you've pretty much paid for your expenses. Okay, so I'm gonna copy. Maybe. I'm gonna try. There we go. The reason I'm moving this in before I settle on this one is this gives me the idea of where the floor is supposed to be, the level of it. Of course, that's going to go wonky if I can't sink it in as far as I want, which appears to be the problem. So we'll leave that there for now. Grab this other floor. I'm going to shrink it. Just put it on 4. Now the reason I left the original there was it will show me the height that I need to put this one at. If I can get my angle right. Now you can do it this way, like I'm doing now. You could, oh, I know. You could just float one up here, and then just kind of keep putting it up against here, and then once you got it in the right height, you move it over. The thing I'm thinking of is like if I said, okay, this is that height, whatever. If I tried to put the same item over there at that height with a different thickness, it probably won't match up right. So I'm just using this one as a guide to kind of get it correct. And then now that I have this one in the position that I want, I'll go ahead and copy that. Maybe. And see how it usually offsets it a bit, doesn't put it at the exact, so you have to kind of eyeball it. Now comes the issue of trying to decide which side's going to have the stairway above, leading up. Do I leave a space for it on both sides, just one side? How steep is the stair going to be? I mean, if I put in a regular staircase, which I can do now, just in position, is it going to be too short? Staircases and the little entrances leading to them from up above and stuff seems to be a real problem for me. I don't know why. I'm sure there's ways to figure it out that I just haven't thought of, but usually they're cumbersome for me. I hate them because of it. Ugh. I accidentally hit my little crystal piece. Probably telling me I need a break. As part of the housing adventure, I want to push a button funny, because then you go poop. Okay, now what was I doing? Stairs. I was trying to turn this. See if I enlarge it to get it to the right height. I think it's gonna like put it way out here, but let's see. You know, maybe it's okay that it's like right there. Straighten that up a bit. Really, it probably should be more like a little further out, so there would be like a little bit of a little platform there, so it's not like you just kind of boop and then there you are. It needs like a little piece here. Okay, so temporarily that's how that's gonna look. Don't really like it like that, but I will leave it for now. I'll figure out something else. But you know, I still want access to what's below. So this one will be the one that goes upstairs, and I guess this one will be the entrance to the downstairs part. And we'll just wall up it up at the top and leave this one gapped at the bottom. Something like that, maybe. I don't know. Okay, so we were looking at this wall piece here in the middle. Probably making people sick watching this, going in and out and up and down. Okay, so now I want this to be level at the bottom, just like these are. So that means I'm going to have to resize this so that it's not completely up there. So it's even with that, and it's up into here, but not poking through, so that's good. And that's going to be a pretty good size, like a monitoring, peeking out window kind of thing. Don't know what all will be visible from it for the public, but we'll see how it looks. It seems awfully low compared to over here, doesn't it? Supposedly the same. I guess it looks lower because this has got this framework too, rather than having it flush with the flooring. There's that extra framework. That's probably what it is. I'm gonna say that's what it is. So now we need another orange floor to finish filling in. Probably need 1, 2, 3 more. I don't know if I already bought the 3. Okay, we're good. Sometimes I forget how much I bought and buy extra. End up wondering what am I going to do with all of that. Just filling in this wall here. You can tell this is uneven quite a bit. That makes it a little unclean, you know, just But, you know, if it really bugs me that much, I could go in with another, like some of those pillars again and straighten it up. But for now, I think it's all right. Because most of that, you know, I don't think too many people are going to come around on this side and just inspect it. They're just going to mostly see this big old contraption in front of it anyway. Now we need some kind of a glass thing here. And size it so that I want a good amount of the frame visible is the idea. I don't want it to be completely sunken into there, so I want to leave some of the framework. Now, I'm not too worried about what's up top. It's mostly down here that I'm thinking on the sides, whether that's too small. Something like that. And this would be like, maybe there's some kind of a consoles up here, you know, with like little stair steps for the little photo munchkins to come up and they can view what's going on down here and make sure everything's working all right. So this would be like the control center, and then down below we'll have some of the, I don't know, noisy machines going on. Something. Okay, so now we've got the gaps here to fill in. We need the sides here. Probably we'll be using the same setup that we have in the middle. Man, I can't spell. I think it'll be wide enough. I don't know how tall it's going to be, but we'll give it a shot. The more I can kind of mimic the same sizes and stuff in other places, the better. Okay, so see, that's small, so I guess we'll just use another size, get it to where we want. That look about good for the door. Looks good to me. We'll just line it up. Make it look like it came that way. It was just appeared that way. It's okay. Okay, so now we need to do the same thing on this side. And hopefully, when I put it in, we'll still be able to go up the stairs. If not, we'll have to do some more adjustment. because that's one of the rough things about setting up stairs is any kind of doors or walls that are close by, you have to make sure the collision doesn't make it where you can't pass through. Because I have gone into homes before where they have a stairway going up and you try to go up and you just get stuck. Or I've had them like have a narrow hallway and then they'll have like paintings or statues on the wall decorations, and it just makes it more narrow and you can't get through. I don't know if it's just maybe the original collisions weren't that great, so that in the beginning, like in earlier homes, it was passable. But now that the collision may have changed on certain things, or I don't know what, it's just they're borked, and the owners just haven't gotten around to whoa 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 whoa, hit the wrong thing. Try that again. Want to spin that over. Sometimes I just go ahead and place, even though I don't have it in the exact spot that I want, just to get it over there. So, because sometimes I'll go to move something and I'll be tweaking it, and then I'll accidentally do something else, and it'll go boop, and it'll go right back. And I was like, dang it, I just had it pretty good. And just to keep it kind of it's like a weird little save feature, you know. Okay, so fingers crossed that the stairs still work. Yay, they do. They don't look very good, but they work. Okay, and then I'm gonna have one little bit here. Just I know I'm gonna need it later, and might as well put something in so that later when I start fiddling with it again, I'll have something to work with. Okay, that's fine. I did okay. Let's see. Oops. And I'm just clicking all over the place, like drunken clicking. And I haven't even been drinking. I have water. Water, I guess there's something in the water. Just a little bit of a platform there. It feels weird. It's the same way on the other one that's on the other side. It needs something like I don't know what. It just something's wrong with it. Looks off. It's gonna bother me until I figure out what it is, and then so yeah. Now it feels a little better. Not perfect, but a little better, I guess. Okay, and then we've got this floor here that I need to fit in. What about my floor? I know it seems like sometimes on some of these, with watching me put these together, feels like, and I do this too myself, just when I'm building alone. It feels like I've gotten nothing done, but really I have. It's just it's time consuming, so uh, it feels like it goes slow. And of course, typically uh, when I worked on my previous homes, I would close it off. I would make it private, and I would sometimes work for 3 or 4 hours nonstop, and then I'd take a break, and then I'd come back for a couple more hours, and then I'd take a break, and I would do that for like a period of a week, just constantly. Every little free moment that I had, I would go in and tinker with it. Well, in this case, I've changed up my working habit a little bit because I'm trying to keep most of my building for the stream only. And of course, with the stream, I'm trying to also keep up the chatter so that you're not just hearing nothing, you know. Oops, copied the wrong thing. Um, And that's slightly distracting for me because I'm not used to. I mean, I talk to myself at times, but I don't keep on a constant banter, and especially when I'm trying to make sense, I often lose track of my thoughts and in mid-sentence even, and uh, so that slows me down a little bit. Um, yeah, that works good. So for the stream itself, it's a little more slower. It seems like a slower process than it probably really is if I was just going headstrong in the thing. I think I will probably close this off so that you can't see the stairs from up above. I mean from this direction, and have this just purely machinery and junk and like spare parts and things like that. And then the up above will be where all the engineers and eggheads are. They're the ones that run the show, and below is just for like the lowly mechanics. And it looks like I got a visitor. And then up here I have like the controlling station where they keep track of things. Maybe have some papers on the wall where they're like keeping track of the schedules and things like that, and just see how it works. It's kind of mirrors the other side, sort of. Obviously, it's not a full wall glass like the other side, but it's kind of, sort of same, and that's okay. I don't mind the mirroredness of it. Oh, there we go. Guess she just wanted to take a look, and so it's coming together, kind of, making a little more sense. There's pieces like these tables here that I'm positive I won't be keeping those. I'll have to find something else, another metal surface that I can use that won't clash too much with what's on around it, but won't blend in with this. Like, I could use the posters for this, but then this won't stand out against it as much. So I'm going to have to find something uh, that works better, that's not as bright. This is just way too bright for me. I want it to be a little darker. Um, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And thank you for joining. If you are watching this from YouTube, appreciate the views. If you'd like to keep track of when I stream again, just be sure to follow my Twitch channel. Wednesdays, it's always at 1 p.m. CET time, and it's always housing. Typically, I start off with the tours like I did today. At least one house. Often I do 2 or 3 of them, though. And then we'll come and do a little building on my plot. Once I finish this, that will be way down the road, though. It'll probably be more like just doing some other kind of housing activity, whether it be goofing around on some challenges or doing a expedition of some kind or whatever. I don't know. It'll be housing related for Wednesdays. Other weekdays, that's non-scheduled. I don't have a set time that I stream on those days. I usually stream every weekday, though, for at least a couple of hours. But it could be in the morning, it could be in the evening. So the best way to catch me is by following my channel so that you can be alerted when I've gone online and have gone live. But again, thank you for watching, and I hope it was helpful or at least mildly entertaining. And check back next week because I'll have a few more new homes for us to tour together. And until then, happy housing.